Alright, so recently the UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammed has made some statements about Islam Makhachev, saying he doesn't want to fight him and how he'd move up to 185 and vacate the belt for him if he chooses to come up to welterweight, which I think is kind of crazy and I want to talk about. Let me know who you guys would have in this matchup, whether it's Islam Makhachev or Belal Muhammed, and write it down there. I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe. I think we just hit 540 subs, which is crazy. Anyway, let me get into it. Now, Belal Muhammed has been glazing Islam Makhachev like crazy recently, two of his most notable statements being that Islam Makhachev could be the 185 champ. I still think this is so crazy because Islam Makhachev would basically be jumping 2 weight classes to fight a guy who's like built like a light heavyweight. Dricus is like one of the biggest middleweights in the division, and somehow people think that Islam Makhachev is going to beat him, okay? But more importantly, this statement is probably the craziest one. Belal Muhammed says he's going to vacate his belt and go up to 185 if Islam chooses to move up. This is absolutely the most insane glaze I have ever seen. After Belal Muhammed has basically worked off his entire life, okay, he's had like a crazy long win streak and Dana White refused to give him a title shot for such a long time. And he's gonna throw it all away for Islam Makhachev. And you know, if this was a situation where Islam Makhachev and Belal Muhammed were like best friends, brothers for life, okay, they were born together, they're gonna die together type of thing, and Islam Makhachev was also out here saying, man, I will never fight Belal, okay, I love Belal like he's my son, maybe I would understand this a bit more. But I kind of feel bad for the guy because that doesn't really seem to be the case. I mean, Islam Makhachev seems to want to fight Belal, even though he won't say it directly. It really does seem like that is going to be his goal and it's something that he wants to do at some point. Now, like I mentioned, he hasn't ever really said it directly. He hasn't said, man, I want to fight Belal Muhammed. I hate this guy. I'm going to fight him as soon as possible. It's not really what he's saying. Okay, he's said multiple times Belal Muhammed has ruined his plan to go up to welterweight. But at the same time, he's never really shut that down and said, no, I have no plans to go up to welterweight. In fact, he said it multiple times that he still plans on going up to welterweight. And it's been his lifelong dream and stuff that he needs to become a double champ. Like, he really wants to move up. It's still something that he considers and is like kind of adamant on doing. In press conferences, he said multiple times, brother, I give chance to too many featherweight, brother. I need my chance to go up to welterweight. He said this so many times to the point where it really seems like he doesn't care about fighting Belal or not fighting Belal. That doesn't really seem to be an issue with him. He seems like he actually does want to fight Belal, but he just doesn't want to say it and ruin the friendship with Belal. Because obviously that would kind of suck if your friend was going to call you out for a fight. But obviously Islam Makhachev can't get the welterweight belt without beating Belal Muhammed. So I do think that Islam Makhachev considers it. And on top of that, Belal Muhammed and Islam Makhachev, they're not like, you know, best friends for life. It's not like Islam and Habib or like Merab and Aljo, where, you know, they've been training for a long time. Like, bro, Belal and Islam, they've been training for like a relatively short amount of time, okay? Obviously, it has been a while, but like, it hasn't been like their entire life or anything. It's not like a crazy amount of loyalty there. And finally, Islam Makhachev has said on record multiple times that becoming a double champ is like his dream. And I really don't think that Islam Makhachev is going to give up his dream for, what's his name? You know, you guys who know what I'm talking about, bro. Okay, Belal Muhammed. He's not going to give his dream up for Belal Muhammed because, like, why would he do that? I really just don't see Islam Makhachev, like, sacrificing his legacy. You know, he's, like, right there. He's right there about to become the GOAT of the sport. And he's going to sacrifice it for Belal Muhammed, a guy, like, he hasn't really even known his entire life. They're not, like, the best friends ever. They kind of just trained together. They've done a couple training camps together. You know, they're friends, but it's nothing like crazy there. So I don't think Islam Makhachev is going to, you know, sacrifice all of that for Belal Muhammed. So I really think that Islam Makhachev wants to fight Belal Muhammed and Belal Muhammed doesn't want to fight Islam Makhachev, which obviously really sucks for him. And I think the reason that Belal Muhammed doesn't want to fight Islam Makhachev is simply just because Belal is a nice guy. Like, even though I hate Belal and I think he's very boring, he's clearly just like a genuinely good guy and I don't think he wants to fight his friend. So I kind of feel bad for him considering Islam Makhachev does seem like he wants to fight Belal Muhammed. Meanwhile, Belal Muhammed like does not want to fight because he thinks like they're best friends or something. I kind of feel bad for him there, but like at the same time, I don't know. I really don't think stuff like this should be in the sport where you guys are like, oh yeah, we're best friends, you know, we can't fight. Like, it's just stupid, okay? It's really dumb there. Like, I don't think Belal Muhammed could have ever predicted that this would happen, but at the same time, like, you gotta just take the fight at this point. Like, it doesn't really make sense to do anything otherwise. Because it really sucks for Belal Muhammed in this case, because he just has no other options, okay? Because, look, if he really goes through with his plan of vacating the belt for Islam Makhachev, because he really only has 2 options. He either fights Islam Makhachev, and if he loses, like, you know, no one really cares. But if he vacates the belt, he only has 2 options, okay? He could either stay at welterweight, which would be terrible, okay, and would ruin welterweight division if Belal Muhammed is there, and, you know, he's beating a lot of guys, and Islam Makhachev is beating all the guys, but they just never fight. It's going to be the Merab and Aljo situation all over again. But the other option that he is saying is that he's going to move up to 185. I think this is so stupid if he does this, okay? I know he keeps saying that 185 is easy and it's such an easy division and he could kill everybody. Like, it's just so obviously not the case. Belal Muhammed is not even a big welterweight necessarily. Like, he's obviously very strong, but he's not like very tall or like physically imposing. He's just kind of like a, you know, a welterweight. I mean, the guy could literally probably cut down to lightweight. He's really not that big at all. So for him to say he's gonna go up to 185, where those guys are absolutely huge, okay? I mean, look, you just look at Dricus du Plessis. Bro is absolutely huge, and a lot of the other 185ers are like very big as well. Pause. Like, you know, Imavov, Izzy, Hamza, like, all those guys are like pretty big, pause again, but like Belal Muhammed is like fairly small for like even welterweight. So for him to go up to 185 and fight those guys, it's gonna really suck for him, because Belal Muhammed has like no finishing ability at all. Okay? He has no knockout power, he has no submission game. Like, bro, he's cooked. If he goes up to 185, he's probably going to get finished like in the first round by everybody, okay? I'm sure he beats a couple guys like maybe Sean Strickland or something, but like, even then, I really doubt that, and those are like really close fights. And the reason this really sucks for Belal Muhammed, because again, he's worked so hard to get to where he is. And, you know, as much as I hate, you know, the guy because his fighting sucks, like, I still want to see him succeed to some extent. Like, I want to see him do well, because he's done pretty good at welterweight, and he could probably go on a decent run. If he beats Shafkat, I feel like everyone after that is like fairly easy for him, you know? So for Belal Muhammed to basically give that all up for a guy who wants to fight him, it really, really sucks, because again, like, he's had a pretty good legacy at welterweight. He could probably become one of the best welterweights of all time if he just keeps, like, defending his title. And he's basically sacrificing his entire legacy because he just hasn't got enough title defenses. He's got none right now. You know, he has 0 title defenses. And, you know, if he goes up to 185, he's probably going to lose. So he's lost there, okay? And it's just like, bro, you're giving up your entire legacy for another guy. Like, there's no other way to put it. You're just losing your entire career for absolutely no reason. You know, like, Islam Makhachev, like, you don't really have much loyalty to him apart from just being friends, which, you know, again, like, I just don't understand Belal Muhammed here. You know, I understand him and Islam are very good friends, but I just think it's Belal Muhammed being too nice and too good of a guy. You know, I just don't think he should do this at all. But how do I think the actual fight would go versus Islam Makhachev? I don't think it's close at all. Islam Makhachev would absolutely destroy Belal. And I know, you know, Islam Makhachev is my favorite fighter, and I sound like I'm glazing, but like, bro, this genuinely is not close. Because, again, Belal Muhammed, the only thing that a welterweight would realistically have on Islam would be size. And he just does not have that anyway, okay? He's really not that tall. They're basically the same in terms of, like, muscle mass, too. They're both absolutely shredded. I think Islam Makhachev would be just a way more skillful fighter here, okay? Striking is way better. Islam Makhachev is, like, a genuinely elite level striker. Meanwhile, Belal Muhammed is just terrible. Okay, the guy has no power, no nothing there. And on top of that, in the ground, the guy has no finishing ability. And I think Islam Makhachev probably mugs Belal in the gym anyway. So I think Belal Muhammed, I just don't see what he can do. I think he just stands absolutely no chance. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you really enjoyed that video, consider becoming a member. Shout out Titano and Cold Art Maker. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Alright.